think, it talks about the state of the world and the possibility of conflict and so on. I think you dismiss these things, in terms of whether there's going to be another war and all of that.
Yes, that dismissed it.
Dismissed in the sense that.
Okay.
And if he asks you if you're running the world, I think you dismiss that as well.
Sure, yeah. But I think we can dismiss that before we start.
Okay. Well, all right. So let me start though. I know that I've read quotes from you before, and I believe also from your memoirs, where you have said that you would like to see the formation of a world government. What sort of vision do you have for, humanity to stop war and get its act together? So.
Well, I'm afraid I have to start with what you recall. I don't recall that I have said, and I don't think I really feel, that we need a world government. We need governments of the world that work together and collaborate, but I can't imagine that there would be any likelihood or even that it would be desirable to have a single government elected by the people of the world. So I think whatever you heard was misrepresented my feelings.
Okay. There's a quote if you go to Wikipedia and Google under David Rockefeller saying that. Now,
what I've told you is my feeling.
Well, you're the man. Now, the other thing is, people are worried about the situation with Iran and some kind of wider conflict emerging from that. What do you think is going to happen there? What's your view about the tensions between Iran and the United States right now?
Well, I think the first thing is that Iran itself is a problem, but its relationship with its neighbors, probably from the point of view of the United States, is the thing that we would be most concerned about, because there are such different points of view in the area, and the possibilities of conflict between the nations within the area is certainly what is of concern to our country.
Okay. Now, here in Asia, people say that the current structure of world institutions is not fair. They say that European peoples account for 17% of the world population and 40% of GDP, but they control 4 of the 5 permanent Security Council seats. Asians are 65% of the world population and 40% of GDP, so they think some sort of better representation is needed. What is your view about this?
I think it's an issue that understandably and legitimately is raised by the nations with a smaller percentage. When the United Nations was created back right after World War II, the world situation was a totally different one, and the influence of different powers was very different. Therefore, I think that it is understandable that those nations with large populations that feel they're underrepresented have a point, and that this should be addressed. I don't think it's something that, to me, is immediately a serious problem, but I do think that it's something that should be taken up in the United Nations, and that over time some redistribution of voting power within the United Nations structure seems likely and probably appropriate.
Also, it's sort of difficult for me to ask this, but these days conspiracy theories are running rampant on the internet, and I thought you could, metaphorically speaking, take the bull by the horns and, let me ask you confront you with or ask you what these people are saying. First of all, they say that you are the secret ruler of the world. What is your response to that?
Well, in the first place, you're not the first person who has raised this issue. There have been people, ever since I've had any kind of position in the world, who have accused me of being a ruler of the world. I have to say, I think for the large part, I would have to describe them as crackpots. I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever, and isn't true and won't be true. And to raise it as a serious issue seems to me to be irresponsible.
And what about the candidate Ron Paul, who's talking about bringing the powers of the Federal Reserve back to the U.S. government, under the presidential control or control of Congress?
I haven't read about that. Is that an issue?
But he's one of the Republican...
He's a Republican candidate, and that's what he's publicly calling for. So,
I would not look upon that as one of the great issues that needs to be addressed at this time.
What do you think the great issues are?
Running our own country better and having our own country play a more balanced and effective role in the world.